Today we're gonna go over the differences between the RingConn Gen 2 and the RingConn Gen 2 Air, and this video is sponsored by RingConn. First, let's talk about the materials. The more expensive Gen 2 is made out of titanium, while the Gen 2 Air is made out of titanium steel. Personally, after wearing them for a while, I don't feel any significant difference between them, unless you really like the feel of the material. Now, I do have the Gen 2 in matte black and the Gen 2 Air in galaxy silver. So since they're both not silver, I can't really comment one-to-one on the differences of how they feel, but I am a fan of the smooth matte finish on the matte black. Now let's talk about the natural wear and tear, and eventually both of these rings will get scratched. On the matte black, I can kind of see the titanium bleeding through on the scratches. Right now it's very minimal, but I can imagine if I get a really long deep scratch, then it can get pretty annoying every time I look at it. Whereas on the silver, the scratches will be a bit harder to see since it's more shiny and more reflective. So I don't really notice the wear and tear on a silver unless I really look for it. Now if you are really worried about having them being scratched, RingConn do sell protectors separately, and they do come in different colors. Personally, I think they are a bit hard to put on, and I do prefer to show off the actual color of the ring than the colors on the protectors. Now there are more color options to choose from on the Gen 2, so you got future silver, matte black, royal gold, and rose gold. On the Gen 2 Air, you have two options, Galaxy Silver and Dune Gold. There is one thing I really like about the Gen 2 Air is the little mark indicating where the nudges will be. This is so helpful to guide me on how to take it off and put it on, since the nudges do hurt me when they're not aligned. And that may vary on how tight the fit is because the finger on my left hand is skinnier, so having the correct alignment isn't as useful since the ring slips right in. So the biggest experience difference for me in this section is the color options and the little mark on the Gen 2 Air. Next is the battery life. For my size, the Gen 2 can last up to 11 days and the Gen 2 Air can last up to 10 days. Even though on the app the Gen 2 Air shows a higher percentage, the Gen 2 actually shows it lasts longer. The battery life lasts for so long, this is not a really big issue for me unless you really need the extra day or two. I think the more significant deciding factor is the charging accessories it comes with. The Gen 2 comes with a charging case and the Gen 2 Air comes with a charging puck. Now the charging case can hold up between 15 to 20 charges, so that charging case can last me between 5 to 7 months without plugging it into a wall outlet. Versus the little charging dock, you would always need to find some sort of wall outlet around you. Personally, I don't mind having the case to be a bit smaller and more portable if I can get up to like 10 charges instead. Because people like me who like to travel a lot, they're going to be carrying this case in their pockets or in their bag. So I really like the idea where I can charge my ring anytime and anywhere. With the charging dock that comes with a Gen 2 Air, you gotta be plugged into an outlet, so most likely you would have to charge it when you're at home or at the hotel. Now I did try charging the rings on both the puck and the case, and it works on both. I know you can buy the charging dock separately for about $40, but I hope RingConn can make the charging case available separately too. Now the next feature is only available on the Gen 2, and that is recording sleep apnea. In the app, there is a separate section for that, and it basically analyzes whether you have any disruptions with your breathing while you sleep. So if you really want to be aware of this, then maybe this feature alone will be worth buying for you over the Gen 2 Air. But besides that, everything in the app that it records is basically the same thing on both rings. Lastly is the price. The Gen 2 goes for $299 and the Gen 2 Air goes for $199. For the $100 price difference, you're mostly getting the same ring but just a bit more battery life, higher quality material, more color choices, sleep apnea detection, and a charging case. I know everyone has different needs, so it's hard to tell you which one is the better buy since both rings are great and they mostly give you the same experience. For me, I do prefer having the charging case as my top priority because I do travel about once a month. So I don't have to worry about when I can charge my ring because I can easily bring the case with me and charge it on the go. Everything else is just a plus to me, so I don't mind paying extra for the charging case. But if you are on a tight budget, $200 for the Gen 2 Air is an attractive price because I've used rings that are way more expensive with battery life that lasts about 3 to 4 days. So like I said earlier, the feel and the wearing experience on both rings are very identical, so you can't go wrong with buying one or the other. If you want to learn more about these rings, I'll have all the info down below. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys later.